Today we're looking at transitions. Okay. Margaret Williams, I am a certified uh, executive leadership coach. I also have 39 years with the Army Corps of Engineers. I've recently retired. The 30th of September will be my last official day as a government employee.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You have no idea what it took for me to get to here. And I have a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology. Um, Alexandria, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for the invite. I'm Alexandra Laish, and I'm a somatic coach. So I basically help people connect back into their bodies as we are more conditioned and accustomed to living in our minds a lot in today's culture. So my job is to guide people back into their bodies, connect with what's happening inside of themselves. I'm also a yoga teacher, so that was my entry point into this bigger work of coming out of this overwhelm, this anxiety, looping narratives that we often seem to be really stuck in for I would say oftentimes longer than necessary. So yeah, I find it a very beautiful tool to work with the body, our body. So this is what I do. Yeah, and thank you so much for the invitation. The topic of transitions is very relevant to me these days, and I feel like it's relevant for a lot of the people I'm surrounded by. So I think we'll have quite a bit to untangle together today.
Sounds good. As we know, the world is chaotic and things are changing on a hourly basis, okay? And it's exhausting. It's mentally debilitating, and that's one of the reasons why I turned off the news. Do I want to know what's going on? No. I wish I could go to my feed and remove anything dealing with uh politics. Okay, because it
Mhm.
triggers me. Okay, I don't want to know because ain't a damn
Yeah.
thing I can do about it. So
Mm.
when we talk about trauma and all the chaotic things that are going on in the world, it affects our body, mind, our spirit, our overall well-being. Okay,
Mhm.
and so we recognize all of these things in our body. We hold all these things in our body. So talk to us a little bit more about how your work helps us with that.
Mhm. Yeah. Let me see how I can start approaching this. Yeah, if you can even do a little exercise yourself right now, whoever is watching, and if you really pay attention to your experience, your current experience, and really take a moment to tune in to yourself, you will notice that there is nothing that doesn't get filtered and kind of felt in the body. So even the thoughts that we think, or even certain spaces we are in, or certain interactions that we have with people, if you really pay attention, there will be a certain somatic experience of that. So our bodies are constantly registering how things impact us, how spaces affect us. There is an experience of how certain thoughts affect how we feel. What are the emotions that come up as a result of that? So the body is really the vessel that holds our experience, because we are not just thinking beings, and in fact, as when we come into the world as babies, as infants, we don't have cognition. We don't think rationally. We experience everything through our bodies, through felt perception, through emotion, and so that continues. That never really stops. So of course, we develop cognition, and we develop what we call a rational mind, and we solve problems, and we of course engage with the world in a conscious way. But we have this other, actually even bigger well of information, that a space that holds information that we don't have conscious access to, unless we create a context for that, unless we create a moment to. And it can be different. Everyone creates that context in different ways. I might use various somatic tools. You might go for a hike, you might listen to music, and all of a sudden connect with something that's beyond the thinking mind or the rational mind. So So I help people in various ways. So we in somatics we work a lot with resourcing. So I help people find their resources in life, and that can be internal resources. So the body is internally equipped with all kinds of responses and mechanisms that help us navigate our world. So I help them find a sense of safety in our bodies, first of all, because a lot of the anxiety and overwhelm that we deal with nowadays is to the body, to the nervous system, registered as a lack of safety, a threat. Even though it might not be a physical, an actual threat, it might also be. So again, discernment there, but I help people find that safety in themselves, or recognize whether they are actually in a situation that's unsafe, and then of course take the necessary steps. So that's kind of how we work internally to find what's good in the body so that we can tackle what's challenging outwards. And then of course we work with resourcing outwards. So there's so many, as I said, music, nature, other people, spaces, food. I'm having my cup of cacao now because that's a resource for me to feel cozy and connected. And so, yeah, I help people to consciously think of their environment in this way. Everything can be a resource, and you can use everything to uplift yourself and to help yourself, or you can use things that are going to decrease your sense of well-being. So it's yeah, that's briefly how it is, and there's various tools and techniques and so on. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about personal safety, as we know, looking at here Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Mm.
if we don't take care of our basic needs, there is no way that we can get to the next step and the next level. And we need to understand that. Okay.
Always, yeah. Yeah, the basic, our physical, we have to remind ourselves we live in a physical body, we have physical needs. They always come first. And what I feel, especially often in the spiritual community, in the community of healing, or learning about how to kind of transcend our human form, that's a big mistake in my opinion, because we can't forget that we live in a physical body and we live in a physical world as well. And so, yes, physical needs are always, they always come first. So that's taking care of your body, health, that's taking care of your finances, of your house, of all of these things, relationships, you know, yeah, all of the things that we know are necessary to function and to live in the world, because the world has certain rules and we have to find our way in a world like that. And so, yeah, and then after that, of course, that also provides that external safety, that safety that we have, that the physical safety that allows us to also explore other things that are maybe secondary, although they are really quite, well, emotional needs, for example, are also quite primary to us as a survival, as surviving social species. But yes, we can't forget about that. Very important.
Well, talk to us a little bit more about that.
So what part specifically? The taking care of the physical needs, or um yeah, how to prioritize, like what to prioritize? I'm wondering what exactly you'd like me to expand on.
When you talk about all these things can be impacted at any given time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you think you're going to the left, and then you end up having to divert to the right. So we
Mm.
have to remain flexible and adaptable to changes that are going on around us and within us.
Yeah, that's very true. And also on the topic of transitions and change, as this is what we're talking about, although we don't have to be strict with the topic, but um yeah, I think this flexibility and adaptability is very important, and I do think that as humans we do have that. But of course we grow in environments that can that help us cultivate that, or less or more. So some of us have a higher capacity, let's call it, for change, for flexibility, for trying things out without thinking, without finding that incredibly dysregulating for the system. So they're just easier. They navigate those types of situations in life easier. And others, they need more skills and more tools to do that. But what I often see when it comes to changes, because life is a constant series of changes, and some changes you choose, some changes happen because life happens and you can't control everything. So it's about realizing where you have a choice and exercising your choice. So there might be something that happens to you that's really uncomfortable and you didn't plan it. Maybe you're being made redundant at work, or you go through a breakup, just all kinds of things. And of course, you know what I'm talking about. And of
Yes.
course, you can't control that because we are in constant relationship with other people and in constant relationship to the environment. So we can take care of ourselves, and then there is also the feedback from outside, and we don't control that. But what you can control is how cultivating attitude of openness towards those things. So, okay, this is what happened. So, what am I going to do with it? And it's not always easy. And again, we all have specific tendencies and patterns, and this is where the work begins. Realizing and having that, it requires a lot of awareness to understand that you're going through something, and you're moving through it in a way that creates more friction, more resistance, more suffering, and it really requires um, a certain willingness to look at yourself honestly and decide that you want to act or to respond differently to that situation. And so you steer or navigate that change, that transition, in a way that helps you grow. You don't have, again, a say on the outcome. You might not know where it leads you, but you are learning in the process. You are building your character. You are growing. You are learning about yourself. And yeah, I didn't see it like that always. This is how I've reframed my relationship, and the way I see transitions and changes as this huge initiations, almost like there are huge initiations in life that have a huge potential to break you open in the best way. And of course, it doesn't come without pain, but pain is a part of life. But there is a huge potential for growth, and yeah. So I feel like this is something that people fall into, and I see it. I've seen it in myself. I see it in people around me. You know, you going through a change, chosen or something that happened, and there is this restlessness, this impatience to get to the other side. And that, I think, it's also our culture gives us this false sense of urgency, that because we see it also, we have access to the internet, to social media, and everything seems really fast, and from the outside it might look like everyone is doing all of these things and we need to get to the other side. But maybe, what if it's not supposed to be like that? What if things are supposed to take time? What if it's okay that you move through a transition for 2 3 years, and it's taking time for you to move through your patterns, through your tendencies, to learn. And so I feel like it's, again, a certain humility that these types of experiences teach you, because also realizing that our minds, because our minds have lots of agendas, and it's not always what our minds think they want. It's not always what's best for us, and our body might have, or even our soul might have another idea of how we want to move through that. So I think that we see transitions and changes, not in the best way. In this Substack community, I'm very privileged to be surrounded by people who are going through all kinds of transitions, and we can talk about these things as we are doing now. And we are reframing it, and we learn from each other, and so it doesn't feel daunting. I know that now everyone goes through transitions. I know that this is something that people talk about openly, and it's a beautiful thing, but it's not a common way of looking at it, I would say, as I see it, also, yeah, around me. It's this thing of like, okay, like, this is uncomfortable, I want to figure it out, I want to get to the other side. Why is it taking too long? Why don't I have the answers? And it's a lot deeper than that in my experience. It's like it's a trust that you get to develop in yourself, in life, in something deeper than just like what your mind tells you. So I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah, transitions. Yeah, it's a deep topic, and we look at it in different ways. But there are ways to look at it that are more supportive, I believe, for us.
I couldn't agree more. And
Yeah.
when we look at transition, this is the biggest transition of all because it's shaking us all up. It's making us realize the things that are most important that we should be focusing our time and energy on. Okay,
Mm.
not the noise that's going on, which is a diversion. Okay, and
Yeah.
and so we see that the organizations have to transform to the digital systems, okay? To compete, they have to cut costs. When they cut costs, they eliminate jobs. That's it, okay? Like for mine, for example, they could pay two quality assurance or whatever for the price that they pay for me. Now they don't have the experience that I have, okay? They don't care about that because if I had stayed another year, this system that they incorporated was going to eliminate me anyway. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. So
Mm.
you got to be forward thinking, okay, and forward proofing your life accordingly. Nobody owes us nothing. The government don't owe you nothing. Back in Teddy Roosevelt time, he had the New Deal. Okay, there is no deals. Okay, not for us. You make your own way because
Mm.
the government is not required to take care of us. Okay, to
Mm.
sustain us. And that's the reality. And people are under the assumption that they have to. No, they don't. Okay, and
Yeah.
when you wake up and smell the coffee and realize that you're alone and you are it. Heaven help you.
Mm. Yeah, I like what you're saying because again, it's an attitude that helps you to put the choice back in your hands. So you go through something that's something you didn't want, you didn't expect, and instead of blaming it onto, we can always find something or someone to blame, right?
Right.
You bring it back to you, and you take your power back in a way. You know, we hear it a lot. Let me take my power back, but like in this context, I really see it that way. What can I actually do with this situation? And again, like even in this types of situation, it's an opportunity to assess what's how things have been, what's been working, what's not been working, and to be honest with yourself, to ask yourself, like, is this what okay what where do I go from here, what's my direction? And you can, yeah, and again, that requires your willingness to do that, to look at it honestly, and to, because it can be very comfortable also to not question it at all, and then just take the next thing that's available, or just, yeah, just again not really realize that you do have choice. It might feel harder, and everything is hard. I feel like you choose your heart. You choose, you choose to move towards your life in a way that requires a lot of self accountability, and that's going to be hard because you're going to have to make choices in alignment with the person you're becoming, and that's always hard. Or you choose to go forward in the old ways as well, and and that's also going to be hard because eventually you're going to realize that you've betrayed your soul, and that's not going to feel good for you. So you choose your heart. There is no way around it. And so in your situation, like you're transitioning from a way of living, a career that you've had for so many years, into something that's possibly unknown,
Mm-hmm.
um, requires more work. Might have to develop new skills. You might need to ask for help, which you might not be used to. You might need to be vulnerable. It opens you up in all these different ways, which is, again, you're becoming a new person. So that's for the brave. In my opinion, that's really for the brave ones. So yeah.
It's better for you to choose than for you to be in a situation where you have no options. Okay.
Mm.
I left
Mhm.
on my own terms. Okay. I left on my own terms. I chose to walk out rather than wait to be fired. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know what day I'm going to be fired, and I'm not going to wait for it because when you are baseball player or a football player, a soccer player, and you at the end of your career, you want to end your career on the top of your game, not at the bottom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work all those years for that. That you take everything that I did and turn it to crap. No, thank you. Bye. Okay. That's
So
it.
I wonder how you yeah, I wonder how you're navigating this. Is there what types of tools, or what's the kind of attitude that you have to really employ here in order to have this attitude? Because I don't feel like it's necessarily common. It's like you're very brave, clearly, so it might be a mixture of like the way you are, personality, and so on. You have a fire inside you for sure. I can feel it. So but I'm wondering, yeah, like how you, because I'm sure things have been challenging, and if you can share with us, I would love to hear, yeah, how things have been.
Well, growing up in a dysfunctional family, okay, and then, having to see my father beat my stepmother, and then, one day I threw an iron at him, and he went to get his shotgun, and I'm like, he went to the bedroom. He was going towards the bedroom. Common sense to tell you, get the hell out. Okay, I got out of there because he came back with his shotgun and he was gonna kill me. Okay, like Marvin Gaye's father killed him, and I was not going to be that statistic. Okay. So, hey, I lived on the street. I did what I had to do. So if I went through all of that crap and being rejected by my family and being ostracized, I'm like, I got this. It's mental toughness. Okay. When you see them coming for you, you've already planned ahead of time. Okay. So, because I wake up early. So when you come for me, I got you. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am not
Yeah.
somebody to be messed with. And when you do, I got that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love that. Yeah, thank you for teaching us that. I love it. I do. Yeah, it's a quality that especially I feel as women we need a lot more of, because we are really conditioned to be, obedient, and to go with how things are, and to listen, and um to be okay with what's given, and not to question, and not to have this like capacity to really stand up for ourselves, and even defend ourselves, and take action towards the things that matter to us, in a way that communicates this kind of that we have our own back. You know what I mean? Like I really have my own back in this, and I certainly didn't have that for a long time, and it's something that I'm working on in the last few years. Really understanding how my body works, and all of the things that I've learned from the past, and like what are some of the new ways that I can learn to show up for my life in a way that feels more empowering. So yeah.
Well, the thing is that my intuition, my energy, okay, I'm an empath. So I utilize those things and something will tell me they're coming for you or something don't feel right. And I know it was not just the supervisor. It was a number of people coming for me at the same time. So, so what you do is you don't give them the rope to hang you with. Okay. If they have nothing, if you don't give them anything, they don't have anything. Okay. She made these mistakes. So what they started doing is saying, okay, she made this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. So by the time you come for your rating period, oh, this is what we have on you right now. I'm like, okay, that's all you got? Seriously? You wasting my time? That's taken away from the work we are called to do. Okay.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
Okay. And it's just going to continue to get worse and worse because they want you to quit. They want you to quit. Okay. So that way they don't have to fire you. They save money that way if you just walk out versus them having to fire you. They got to do all this red tape. They got to explain all of this. So we'll just make it so hard for her that she'll just walk away. Yeah. Yeah. You can
Mm.
have it. I get it. Okay. Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Right? So as we look at these organizational change, these companies are failing considerably, considering how much money they spend to recruit you. Okay, but then once they get you there, then it's a whole new different ball game. You got to dance by their tune. Okay, they tell you jump, you say how high. Okay, well I'm tired of all that. Okay, y'all can
Mm,
have that. You know what I'm saying? So the burnout is considerably high, considering the rate of people leaving these organizations are high because they're tired of being treated like crap. Okay, so that means that the remaining employees have to pick up the workload. Okay, so when I decided to walk away, they said, "Oh, her job is eliminated. Supervisor, you have to do her job now and yours." I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Since I'm not good enough for you, do it yourself. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Okay.
mm, mm,
So what are your thoughts about the rate of how these organizations are going now, and things are just
mm.
it's just
So I
horrible.
Yeah, I can't say that I have a lot of experience with it right at the moment. I've been out of, full-time employment in a company for a few years, and so I don't really, and especially the current landscape, in the corporate world, I'm not incredibly familiar. That's why I'm
Good for
listening
you.
to you. And yeah. So I guess it depends on the company, but I'm pretty sure that there are some things that happen that are not in a favor of the people who are working the hardest. That's for sure, because I keep hearing that. And so it does make sense that if you do have the the opportunity, and if you feel the call, it does make sense to distance yourself from that. If it's making you feel bad, if it's leading you into a burnout, if it's creating stress in your life and so on, that's all going to affect your health as well. So it does make sense to take a distance from that and carve your own path, even though, as I said, it might still be challenging. And I see a lot of people who are taking this path. I also have around me, I know people who are happy also in their jobs and have good companies, and they're looked after in good ways. So I don't think it's all bad from what I see. But and it probably depends on from country to country as well, and the industry, the field, I imagine, has something to do with it. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that this has been an opportunity for you to, find something within you, to find your fire and move towards it, rather than just wait until maybe it's not too late, but maybe even more difficult to come out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the longer we wait, the more chances that we won't do it. Okay, let's keep it real.
Mm,
Okay, and that's why it's so important to start now.
mm,
Okay,
mm, mhm.
I just want to say too that burnout alone costs United States industries over $300 billion annually. Okay,
That's
and it's
insane. Yeah.
and it's all stemming from poor managed transitions. Okay, and it's sad. This is all should be a part of the business plan. Okay, how you're going to handle all of this. Okay, if people are unhappy, they're not going to be coming to work. They're not going to give you 100%. I'll give you 50% today. Okay? Because you're not doing a damn thing for me, but yet and still, you want me to do all this crap and put up with your crap also at the same time? You ain't paying me enough money for that. What you thinking? Okay?
Yeah.
They say, okay, what we're gonna do is because we getting too much flack from these employees. They don't want to do what we tell them to do when they do it. So we'll just eliminate their job and we'll replace it with a computer system that don't take off, that don't complain, that don't say that my kids are sick. We'll eliminate all of that. So
Mm,
what I did was I went to school, okay? Because I knew this day was coming, okay? And I wanted to have some additional skills that I could use when that day comes. I became a certified coach, okay? I got my bachelor's degree. I got my master's degree. So I
mm,
could get out here and compete with all of everyone else that was dumped from the federal government into public sector,
Hmm.
in the public sector.
Oh,
Okay. So this is just creating a bunch more things that we have to figure out and do along with everybody else. Thank you, federal government. Okay. If you can't beat them, join them. That's why I joined them. Okay. So then you can't beat them. So I mean,
right.
not really. Not one person. It takes a multitude of people to beat them. And then, because they have so many different tactics and strategies, they be using when you sleep.
Hmm.
So it is what it is. So you got to get yours when you can get it. Okay, don't wait, because
Hmm.
you might not.
So,
You might not be in the faculties mentally or physically to be able to do it if you wait too long. Okay.
hmm. So what you're talking about is having that capacity to recognize well in advance when things are going in the wrong direction, right? And
Yes.
yeah, that's actually very true, and it's important to do that. Yes, because and especially when it comes to burnout, which is so common. And I actually what you mentioned about the United States, it's really insane to hear that the figure is so high. But yeah, recognizing in advance that where you are is not good for you, and creating even in small ways a plan, right? A plan for a change, and something that can hold you is really crucial, and probably even not talked about enough. Um so it's fascinating. So this is the kind of work that you do with people, because that's actually very interesting. So you're supporting people going through these types of transitions from, like, let's say, toxic work environments, corporate world, into something that's more aligned with themselves?
Well, I've been helping people with a lot of different things, and as I evolve, my products and services evolve, and
Of
this I
course.
think is of the most need right now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because so much change and so many people's jobs is being lost. Okay, your
Mm.
benefits are being lost. It's being taken away and given to the rich, and we have to figure out how the heck we're gonna survive. Okay, in the midst of all of this crap, because
Yeah.
things happen at the most uh, inconvenient time. Oh, we don't need you no more. And you just paid for this vacation for you and your family to go on $10,000. Oh, here's your pink slip. We don't need you anymore. And you didn't see it
Mm.
coming. Okay. They don't have to give you notice anymore. With all the collective bargaining be gone, all the protections gone, now they want to make the employees to pay more in their health care. Okay, say for example, the government was paying 30% for me. Now they want to, oh, well, we'll just pay 15 and they'll have to pick up the rest. Okay, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it don't cover dental. Okay, the guy talking about, well, you need this and you need that. I'm like, baby, ain't nothing wrong with my teeth. They fine. Okay. Because I have to pay out of my pocket and I don't have that kind of money. Next, I got the cleaning and call it a day. Okay.
Yeah. That's very, yeah, that's very, that's the reality of things. And yeah, we have to take matters into our own hands if we can, and as much as we can, rather than wait and depend. And yeah, the work that you do is very important, because people do need support in this transition. It's not something that we learn how to do. We are not also not taught to um yeah, to see things like that, right? And to even also, like, when it comes to, as we were saying, the burning out, and the not knowing that where we are is not good for us. We are not being taught to even move out of that faster. We're not being taught that comes again back to even having that connection to your body. Like, we're disconnected from our body, so we don't even notice that we're stressed, or we're overworked, or we're, suffering from constant anxiety. We normalize all these things. So we normalize living with stress, we normalize living with chronic pain, and so on, when in fact these things are not normal. And so it is important, I think, more than ever, for people to have this type of support, practical support, emotional support, and so on. All this, there's so much to learn. So yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful, and very important work to be done in the world today. Yeah.
Absolutely. A person come to me, say for coaching, they may just want to vent, to get all of it out. and just for me to hold space for them, not to say nothing, just to listen. And that is sacred, okay? And I can't
Absolutely.
tell you, I've had that people that don't do that for me, you know. And sometimes I just go outside, I just scream at somewhere in the field somewhere just to get it out. Whatever you got to do, get this crap out because it's killing you. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'm serious. It's killing you, and
Yeah.
because you have to say, well, what can I do? Okay, in this
Mhm.
moment, okay, to get yourself together, to keep it together. And so having
Mhm.
somebody that you can call, okay, is priceless. Okay. And that's what I love about this community. I go in notes and they're like, oh, okay, here she go. Okay, whatever. I feel better afterwards. Okay. Just turn it off, whatever. Uh just keep it going. But you gotta let it out because if you don't, that's why a lot of people commit suicide. You never know.
Mm.
Okay. And so we need to have empathy, care and concern for others because that could be us. That's me today, and then it could be you tomorrow. If you get that notice of saying, okay, your job is gone, and then you get the notice from this a mortgage company saying overdue. Then okay, so it's like, okay, calm yourself down. What can I do? What can I do? Because it's a domino effect. One thing can just change your life forever,
Yeah.
and you don't even see it coming. Okay.
So true. Yeah. And it helps to know that you're not alone in that process, that you have support. And because I think so many people go through similar experiences without even knowing that. And it can feel very isolating when you go through something like this. It can feel like you're the only one. And and even maybe there is also shame on top of things. Oftentimes, oh, how can I admit this to people? I can't ask for help. This is not it may this is also what the culture does to us. It's um it makes us feel like there's something wrong with us, we've done something wrong, we haven't done enough, and so on. So just to remove that shame as well from these experiences, and be more open and more transparent, makes people want to do the same. And then it just having that support from community, from a coach, from a friend, from just anyone. Like, we need to rely on other people and to ask for help. Something I'm learning a lot in the last years, and yeah, it really helps to have such a wonderful community here on Substack as well. I also love it so much. Yeah, there's always someone for everyone, I feel, and there's a community for everyone, and just as long as you're taking a bit of time to find your people here, it can be very rewarding and supportive. Yeah.
They will find you, trust and believe, okay?
Yes, no, I'm really thankful. I'm thankful for our chat, Margaret. Really. So yeah, it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, you as well, and I could sense your energy and your integrity and honesty, and so that's why I reached out to you, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, so when we look at, transition, okay, um, there, what else would you have to say on it?
Hmm. I know. Yeah, I guess just to see it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. I feel that's something that that comes to mind now, because it's an approach that I have, rather than resisting a change in your life. Look at it as an opportunity to teach you where your work lies, and then things you need to work on, things you need to learn, things you have to potentially let go of. Yeah, it's an opportunity to just learn more. So it can be a helpful, a new way of seeing it, because it can make the process more gentle, I feel, and more smooth. Not without challenge, but just more gentle. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I can tell you, it's been very, very difficult because basically I had to let go of everything, okay? Because when you're in that situation, if you a lack of planning, okay, we put ourselves in predicaments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll say afterwards, well, if I had a realized or if I had a did this, then I wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, we can say that. We can look at the lessons we learned from these experiences, but don't beat yourself up about it. because it is what it is. Just at that point, just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do in the future. This is the things that I'm going to do. Okay. And go from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Absolutely. And honestly, transition is really good because
Mm.
it allows you to see who's actually in your corner. Okay?
Mm.
Because usually everybody loves you when you're up and you're successful and all of this, but when you're down and out, then you find out through your difficulties, that's where see where the loyalties lies, okay? Because usually most people will scatter. Together we stand, divided we will fall. They're like, that's your shit. Don't bring it over here. Okay? And then, like I said, but that's okay. That's good. Because once you get yourself together, then you know who you can rely on and
Mm.
who. Okay, so I take notes on everything. I work for the government. I am meticulous in details. I keep notes. Okay, so
That's
it is what it is.
that's a very important thing you're touching on, and very true. Yes. Yeah, it can really feel like in those situations, yeah, some people are fading away, and again, it's an opportunity for you to decide the kind of people you want to have in your corner. Um, Again, not comfortable, right? Because it's yeah, it can be painful. We create bonds and relationships with people. We share things with people, and yeah, we are social creatures, and we cannot be on our own. But we can always meet more. We can always create connections that are more suitable and more in alignment with who we are becoming. And I feel like, yeah, you're very strong in the way you are talking about this, and I really like that. Just really that unapologetic attitude towards this. Like, okay, like I'm just gonna look after myself, and I'm really gonna. I respect myself in this experience, and I'm not gonna accept anything less than that. Like I respect myself, and I want the same from the people around me, and that's again a very beautiful way to show to yourself that you have your own back, in the sense that you also want to have people around you who have your back, right? Because I'm pretty sure you do the same for others, for the ones important to you. So again, yeah, another lesson that that we get to learn in this process. Yeah, the people that stay, the people that go. Yeah, very important.
Also, it's like God bring people in our lives for a reason. Season. Maybe that particular person was only supposed to be in your life for one day. I've had
Yes.
that. Since I can't rely on my family, okay? I've always been helped by a stranger. Always. That's why,
Mm.
and they've been kind to me. I've moved 8 times, okay? And so I didn't know anybody. So that's why cultivating and nurturing relationships is key. It's very important because you never know who you may need to rely on down the road.
Hmm. Yeah, it's the family you create, right? The chosen family, right?
Exactly. Exactly. When you
Choosing
find your
and
nuclear, when you find your
yeah,
nuclear family is no good, you go elsewhere. Okay? You
yeah,
improvise. Okay?
yeah,
So
definitely
just like
having an open mind towards relationships and opening, yeah, opening the perspectives. And as you were saying, it's beautiful to be helped by strangers and to connect with strangers. And I feel like, again, in today's world, we don't speak to strangers anymore. We don't speak to each other anymore on the street, on the in the metro, you know, on the train. We are so immersed in our own bubble, in our own world, and we don't have those chances to like engage with each other organically, to exchange a look, a glance, to notice our body language. And it's again one of the things that is really I think about it a lot. You know, how we are using technology and how technology is evolving, and the fact that we're not really exercising. I feel like we're not exercising our choice in it. We just go with it, but we don't question, like, is it really how I want to use my phone? Is it really how I want to use the internet, social media, and a bit of discernment there is so necessary for us because we do need each other. We do need to interact with each other in this direct, felt way. Um, and so many missed opportunities, because of that. Because you can meet amazing people in this way. So I don't know what you have to say about that, but yeah, it's something I think about sometimes, and it makes me feel a little bit pessimistic. Maybe I'm generally quite an optimistic person, but sometimes I also have moments when I'm like, okay, where are we heading? Yeah.
We always have to think like that. But what I want to say is that I forgot my thought. I'm sorry.
It happens.
What did you say last? What did you say last? I'm
I
sorry.
said I said that I'm generally optimistic, but sometimes like looking at how the world where we're moving, I'm also a bit hopeless with all of the technology, with the AI, with social media, with the news, and it's kind of a bit of a pessimistic outlook sometimes. Yeah, and I can't really help that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I have to disconnect. It's hard to disconnect because
Hmm.
I'm the type of person, if somebody comment, I have to go back and respond because that's how we build relationships. If somebody talking to you, you answer, okay? Because it's
Yeah.
rude not to. I be sending people message or a post or something. I think it's rude not to respond. I don't care if you got 20,000 followers. How did you get those followers? Okay. Don't forget how you got them. Okay. Because everything goes up must come down. Okay.
Yeah.
What you put out, what you get back. Well, at some point, and if somebody do you wrong, they might not get paid back, but they'll get paid back through future generations. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to continue we're going to continue to do our work despite anybody's objections. Period.
Absolutely.
Let's
Yes,
go.
absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah,
Because life
absolutely. And I
is too
like,
short.
yeah. And I like your focus on cultivating these connections, right? Like it's not about, the amount of followers you have or anything like that. It's about nurturing each connection. If you have the opportunity to speak to someone, do it. This is actually what's important. Whether you're building an audience online or a business, or you're trying to get people to see your work because you want to do your heart's work in the world, and it's always going to come down to every single connection you get to nurture, every single person that comes your way, treating people like people, right? Like not like objects or um I don't know. Yeah, just treating people like people. People connect with people in any context, in a business context, in any context, and even when you're trying to sell your products, because of course we do that, right? We want, and we believe in what we do. We believe in what we have to offer to someone, but that can also be done keeping that humanity in mind, like doing it in a human way and reminding ourselves that, oh, I'm speaking to a person who might need what I have to offer, and I'm going to do it in that way rather than just create this over engineered way of presenting myself, or and something again that we forget. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be complicated, as long as we remain true to ourselves and treat people as people, right? Yeah, that's what we would like as well. So
Absolutely. So you got this product. Okay. Do I need it? Maybe, maybe not. But if you're not a personable person, if you're not showing yourself as genuine, I don't want it. You can keep it.
of course, it's always
Okay.
down to that. Yeah, you can have the best sales lines, but yes, it always comes down to, okay, how does this person make me feel? That it always comes down to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, that's the most important thing. Is how you make a person feel. Because I'm not gonna remember what you said, okay? Period. Because I have short-term memory. But I'm gonna remember how you made me feel. I'm gonna say, oh, that's Alexandria. She's the bomb. Okay. I'm gonna buy her program because she made me feel valued. She made me feel um um valued, and she made me feel good. So that's who I want to buy from. Not Joe over here who just talking crap and saying, here, this is going to give you 10 million, make you $10 million. That don't mean nothing. How do I know that too? Okay. That's why I
So
tell
true.
people, get out there, show your face, show people who you are. Okay. Because people like me, I'm not going to spend no money until I know something about you. I have to like you. Something about you has to gravitate towards me, because everybody got a product to sell. Okay. That don't mean nothing. So that's what we need to take in consideration when we're selling our products and services. First, nurture and cultivate the relationship. Okay? Period. I don't have no money right now, but when I get some, I'll remember you and I'll come back to you. Okay? If you're memorable. Okay? That's the thing.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
genuine. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just like everybody else.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I feel like if you do work that you believe in, and if you're genuinely wanting to support people and to provide something of value, then yeah, you don't even have to get out of your way to sell that thing. It's just talking about it in a way that comes from your heart is going to already resonate with the people who need it, with the people who are ready for it. So it becomes this almost like effortless kind of yeah you're in a relationship with the thing you're creating and offering, and you talk about it in a way that doesn't feel forced. And this is, I think, in the field that we work in, because we both do coaching in different ways. It's work that comes from the heart, and it's something that matters to us, so you can feel it very quickly when it comes across inauthentic or forced, or you know what I mean. You
Absolutely.
can really feel it. Yeah. And it's work that we do that involves other people. We work with other people, so this human component is like the most important one. Being able to resonate and to meet people where they are, rather than just have this yeah predetermined line in mind, and lead with that, and you don't touch anyone in that way.
Absolutely. So we need to take all of these things in consideration, people's feelings, okay, and try to resonate people in a lot of ways. So one of the things that I was talking to a friend about was basically all of us coaches are basically saying the same thing. We're just saying it in a different way. Let's keep it real, okay? But at the end of the day, it's about who resonates with us, okay?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
may resonate with you better. That's fine. They may resonate with me better. There's enough out there for all of us, okay? It's about collaboration over competition. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Thanks for saying that. Yes, we need to see it like that. We need to see how we can help each other, how we can complement each other's skills and each other's talents, rather than see competition. Again, something that our culture taught us, and again, something we have to unlearn: cooperation and not competition. I'm going to keep that. Yeah.
So in thinking about how we retain the competitive advantage, because we have to think like that. Otherwise, we're going to be out of business. Okay, period. All new businesses start, they go bankrupt within the first 3 years. Okay, so how can we be lean and mean and still accomplish our mission? You want to
Mhm.
talk about that?
It's something I'm learning. So I've actually launched very recently a program, a somatic program. It's called From Freeze to Flow. So it pretty much it teaches some of the things I've been talking about already. Teaches people how to come out of that internal stuckness, internal friction, and put choice back into their hands, and it with various tools that are body based tools. It helps people find that connection to themselves that you can only access when you drop in, so you can't fully have it when you're like overthinking all the time and trying to find solutions with the mind. So helping people connect back inside and find that inner connection, inner fire, and then slowly being able to take action towards the things that really matter to them in a way that doesn't overwhelm them, in a way that supports them. So yes, I've been, of course, I've launched this last week. It's going to start on the 15th of October, and I'm thinking of creative ways to share it with people. I use Substack a lot for that, and I have my chat as well. So I share things in the chat for my loyal subscribers that I don't really share in notes, because these people they're trusting me with their emails and they're reading my work every week. So I want to offer them and give them things that are a little bit maybe more intimate or more specific. So I do it this way, and of course, just again talking about it from my own experience, or sharing how I've moved from my own stuckness, from my own rigidity, into more connection, more flow, because the program was born from that. The program is born from my own experience of moving from being frozen and unable to take action and move forward, to coming to a place where I can actually, come on video and talk about these things without feeling like I'm completely overwhelmed. And this couple of years ago was really out of my comfort zone, but I've managed to create that capacity in my body so that I can do things that are uncomfortable. Of course, it's always still a bit hard. There is nervousness, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I really think that there are ways to work with that. We can learn to tolerate more challenge if we want to grow towards the lives that are called that the life that calls us. We do have to learn how to do that. So yeah, learning with the nervous system has been incredible. So talking about it in this way, very honestly, and I share a lot in my newsletter. So if people here who are on the call are also curious about body work, somatics, nervous system, education, I share a lot in my publication, Soma Healing. I also am curious to hear from you. What are your methods, or if you also have something to share that's interesting, in ways to talk about your work in ways that feel authentic. I'm also curious to hear how you do it, or yeah.
Well, what I've done is, all skills are transferable. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I was a survey tech, I was a QA, I did some project engineering work, project management. Okay, I was a negotiator, even though I'm not an engineer, but I have a systems thinking, uh, and
Mm.
it's just these things I do very well. Okay, helping to manage people and manage systems and manage conflict, okay, and decision making, because when you're working for the federal government, and if like I was in Iraq and Israel, okay, you have to be quick. You have to make quick decisions. You can't sit there and ponder, because you might be blew up, okay? So you need to be having your wits about you. Okay. And then you have to
Mm.
have your team there also supporting you, because we have shared goals and shared interests, and that keeps our mission and our vision moving forward. So all
Mm.
of the things that I learned during my career, I utilize it here. Okay. I'm figuring out how to utilize all of these skills and figure out how to create programs based on my expertise. Okay. That I can make available to people. But everything is a process, because I'm still transitioning from my retirement while I'm trying to put things into place for my business, and things just take time. It's just going to
Yeah.
take as much time as it needs to take, because I don't want to just throw something out and say, here you go, and it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it takes time to reflect and to figure it out. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the essence of transitions, is also having that maturity to understand that you do have to try things out, you do have to take action, and because you're going to learn through action, and also being ready to pivot and to try something different if it didn't work. Just because something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you have to quit everything. Again, adaptability and flexibility, what you were saying earlier, something I'm learning a lot also with the work that I'm doing, and exploring and experimenting a lot here on Substack and outside of Substack. I do also a lot of one-to-one work with people, and that also, I'm learning a lot through that as well. Also, like what you were saying, bringing some of the skills from the past, from my previous roles. I used to work in schools. I used to work with kids. I used to organize events. So there's all kinds of skills I've acquired, and you can always you have, it seems like you have a skill kit, a toolkit of like various things, and how can I bring my life experience? Because you never really, again, another thing with transitions, you never really starts from scratch, even though it might look like you start from scratch, but you always have everything you've done up until that point is going to count. So how can you bring that into the next thing you're doing? Um, so yeah, that's also something, a fresh way to think about it. Like you're doing something new, but you don't start from scratch ever. Yeah. So yeah, like I loved writing. I always used to hold a journal all my life, and now I'm writing on Substack, and I just know that it's a natural progression because I've always loved writing. I love engaging with ideas and thoughts, and untangle things, and now I do it on Substack, and it's beautiful because it's something new, but it's a skill that I've been cultivating in some way or another. So something like an example. Yeah.
And sometimes, many times, you could have a coaching conversation with a client, and they don't even realize that they have all these skills and everything they have already, and not even utilizing it until you bring them to their attention. Well,
That's
how are you
yeah.
utilizing this? Oh, okay, okay. The light bulb, that's an aha moment, okay? So that's a good thing about coaching. I love.
That's also, yeah, our jobs as coaches is to actually remind people of the things they already have inside themselves and to help them open things that are already there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Absolutely. Okay. That's the power of coaching. So, do you have any other final comments? I'm going to see if we have any questions here
Yeah,
from
would be
anyone.
lovely. Let's see if anyone has questions. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone has been taking something useful from the conversation as well. Yeah, I don't
I
see any
don't.
questions.
Yes. I do you have any final thoughts?
I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I've loved it. I think we've covered quite a bit. Yeah, just an invitation for people to come follow me, subscribe if they resonate with the work that I do. And apart from that, also big thank you to you, Margaret, for making this happen. I really, really, truly appreciate it. And I'm really glad to be connected with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
everyone. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Bye bye.